AOL password. Study 1 locked desk hint. Subtract the yellow dart's points from the red dart's total. Aunt Cecilia apartment code. January 3rd, 1994. 2 weeks ago, Scott came to me and asked about Sophia. I was surprised that he knew about someone who used to work here 20 years ago. I told him that she was once a maid that worked here, but after a few years, she decided to leave the village. Today I commented about the conversation to Vivian. She asked if Scott had said or asked anything else since then. I could see she felt uneasy. She told me to keep an eye on him. I find all this very unsettling. January 19, 1994. Derek doesn't seem too willing to drive for Vivian. I don't think a 5-day trip is that long. Charles often had trips longer than that, and Derek never seems to mind them. Now that I think about it, Derek is unusually quiet when Vivian is around. He doesn't even look at her. It's like he's avoiding her. I wonder why. February 20, 1994. I noticed that Vivian is getting increasingly paranoid whenever she sees Scott, to the point of being upset by his presence. She asked if Charles has someone to replace Scott, but Charles chose to keep him. He liked the boy. Maybe those hunting trips really bounded them. March 2nd, 1994. It's Dad's death anniversary today. I can't believe it's already been more than 2 decades. I visited his grave in the morning. His tombstone is full of falling leaves. Looks like autumn has already started. Mom's tombstone is covered with leaves too. I read today's newspaper and updated him on things that happened here recently. As I sat there talking, I wondered if he could hear me. Will we just spend the rest of my life serving Charles and Vivian until I die? What will people remember me for? April 29, 1994. I saw Scott and Trisha today. They looked happy. I almost envy them. I think my chance at ever having a relationship with someone is over. What would my life be if I had accepted Angela? I don't think we would be happy. She wasn't my type anywho. Who is my type then? Vivian? I don't know who. If Father Matthew forget his key, place it under the flower pot next to the church. November 15, 1995. Derek visits me every day. Sometimes he smuggled the snacks that I like, knowing that I would never get them from the nurses. Other times he brings me flowers. They smell wonderful. He knows that I love insensibility. He reads me a chapter or two every time he is here. If he doesn't have to drive Charles for a few days, he stays past visiting hours and sleeps on the armchair, tending to my needs during the night and giving the nurses a break. He's such a good kid. December 2nd, 1995. My hair is falling off more now. I really don't like the chemotherapy session. They make me throw up afterwards. Every time Derek visits me, it pains me to see him holding back his tears. I want to comfort him, saying that I'm getting better, but my appearance betrays me. December 16, 1995. Sometimes, I wonder if my life had any meaning at all. Having mostly worked my whole life for the Roberts family, what will people say at my funeral? Will Derek think of me as a mother who always there for him? I could have done much more, if only there was more time. Are ghosts real? In Search for the Truth of the Dead by Rebecca Bloomfield. What happens when a person dies? Does the soul leave the body and head towards the far off light? These are the questions that mankind has been asking since the beginning of our existence. And yet, there is still no concrete, scientific explanation that can prove that such things exist. But what if they are real? More importantly, what if the person has unfinished business here on earthly plane? According to Nathaniel Anderson, spiritualist and writer of Spirit of the Dead, the spirit world is very real and everyone is destined to go there after leaving their physical body. However, when people die with resentment in their hearts, they are unable to pass through the gates towards the designated realm in the spiritual world. This is due to the things they were affected by on earth. We call these lost souls, ghosts. Ghosts are spirits in an unhealthy state. Some of them seek revenge, but almost all of them seek some form of resolution, depending on the level of the hurt they received before passing and their level of maturity while on earth. The levels of resolution range from lesser indemnity to greater indemnity.
Hello again, Miss Roberts. How are you doing? What should we talk about today? The nurses have notified me that you haven't been eating your meals. Is there something wrong with the food? We know that currently this is a rough time for you. Your father has been asking for you. He wants to know if he can talk to you.
Can somebody let Catherine know that I found her missing pin and I placed it in one of the drawers of the lobby? If she's wondering, I found it in a basement storage. She needs to take better care of her things. May 1993. Norma Jefferson was admitted to PCH at 10:24 a.m. Her son found her on the side of the bed and immediately called us. We tried to reach Dr. Johnson, but we were not able to. After the third try, we gave up and called Dr. Snyder, who was not supposed to be on duty. It's the third time that we failed to reach Dr. Johnson. He's never been unreachable this many times before. June 4th, 1993. Susan has been sick 3 days in a row. With Catherine calling sick at the last moment, tonight's staff will be extremely short-handed. I have to agree to double shifts this weekend. June 20, 1993. It is unfortunate that 8 years old Timothy Scott drowned. Rumor was that he was trying to retrieve his toys and lost his grip. He was alone while everyone else were playing the playground. His body was found 3 hours later in the river, near the hunting cabin. June 26, 1993. It was the end of the hallway when I saw a young lady standing outside Dr. Johnson's office. It was 11 and 12 p.m., and the visiting hours were over. I called her out, she turned to me and promptly walked away. I couldn't be exactly sure, but I thought she looked drenched. I looked outside the window. It wasn't raining.
Dear Hannah, I heard from my mom that you're not feeling very well and you have to be in the hospital from now on. So I wrote this letter to say I'm really sorry for what I said the last time. I just want our time capsule to be perfect. When you get better, please put anything you want on the time capsule. You can decide where you should bury. I promise. Really hope you get well soon. I miss you so much. Please write back to me. P.S.
You can pass your letter to my mom. She works on the hospital as a nurse. Nicole. Dear Nicole, I was so glad when I got your letter. I'm sorry too, and I thank you for letting me choose where to bury your time capsule. I have a few ideas in mind and I want you to share with you to pick one. 1. Playground. 2nd. Behind the hunting cabin. 3. Cemetery. 4. These last few months gave me time to reflect for quite some time. When one comes to understand that soon my body will be no more and I will return to earth, the questions arise of the purpose we fragile beings have in this life. How my soul yearns for those joyful moments with loved ones when I was ignorant of such incomprehensible matters. And now I sit here, waiting for death, knowing that I will never have a second chance. If only I could express what I feel to my wife, kids, people once called friends. Maybe I can feel comfort. My body may be old to travel, but at least I can send something to them. A nurse has helped me prepare a package to send. I'll see to it personally that it gets dropped off once my body feels better. The last effort of sick old man. Harold S. Mason. To-do list. Get more dire wood. Give Trisha my spare cabin key. Pick Mrs. Patterson's sink. Visit Andrew at the hospital. Check hospital for missing tools. Monday, January 2nd, 1994. Andrew came and told me he didn't need an assistant. He said Scott's too inexperienced and is a burden to him. What he hasn't realized is the garden has not been maintained well over the past few months, that his drunken behavior is irritating, and that Scott is actually doing more work than he is. Scott's a fast learner. He should be up to speed in no time. Charles was the one who insisted on hiring him anyways. Charles liked the boy. They've been hunting together a number of times, and Charles always seems happy with his company. I just don't understand his love for hunting. He sometimes spends more time in his hunting cabin than he does at home. Tuesday, January 3rd, 1994. I was shocked to learn that Scott has been asking around about Sophia. How did he know about Sophia? Who told him? It must be Angel, that drunk. I told him Sophia is gone. Those hallucinations of him is getting worse. He needs to see Henry and get more pills. I will need Bernard to keep an eye on Scott. From now on, I will try and see who he talks to, who he asks. Friday, April 8th, 1994. I called Oliver and asked if he could be the main photographer for the Easter fundraising event. When he asked what the funds will be used for, I told him I will use to raise awareness of Painscreek to promote our town tourism. After listening, he agreed to help. When asked how much he would charge, he simply said it'd be free. I was surprised. I appreciate his contribution for this town. Tuesday, April 12, 1994. The deal with Howard Medical came through, just as I anticipated. Instead of being happy, I feel empty. Am I getting numb? Or is that I don't care anymore? Saturday, May 14, 1994. Our dinner night was quiet. Charles didn't eat much. He asked me about my day, but I didn't want to talk about it. As a matter of fact, I don't want to talk to him much these days. Trisha was silent as well. She distanced herself from me. I can feel it. She used to confide me everything. Now, we hardly talk. Is it stopping her for seeing Scott wrong? Wednesday, July 6, 1994. I don't want Trisha to be near Scott anymore. Of all the men in this world, why would Trisha pick him? This is unacceptable. Bernard Hopkins, 31 Silver Lake Boulevard, Painscreek. Father died in a mine accident. He was at home the day Vivian was killed. No alibi. Meeting with the sheriff at the odd spot at 10 a.m. on May 11. He mentioned wanting to show me some files. I found a hidden panel in the inn's reception area. It's part of the counter. It's hard to pop open. The latch is placed at one of the corners. There's some interesting stuff hiding there. Enel County Sheriff Department, 44 Hampshire Road, Sun City. regarding work relocation. Dear Sheriff James Howard, due to the decreasing population of Painscreek County over the recent years, we have decided to delegate manpower elsewhere. This letter to inform you that we have been reassigned to Grant County, starting May 40, 1998. Please report to our office before May 12, 1998. Dear Father Calvin, this is a letter about the things that I have witnessed during my stay in Painscreek while in service to Miss Magdalene Roberts. I have no one to confide in, and I dare not to speak to you in public. Hence this letter. I accompanied Miss Roberts to Painscreek on July 4, 1975 to visit her son, Charles. It was rumored that Vivian had a nervous breakdown following her own delivery of Tricia, that she had to stay in PTH for rehabilitation for several months. During that time period, Charles was alone. He found comfort in a housemaid by the name of Sophia. They had an affair. A boy was born. 2 days after arriving, we were informed that Sophia, along with her child, had left Painscreek. Where she could have gone off is a mystery to all of us. However, Mrs. Roberts refused to believe that Sophia would leave when she would have been accepted into Roberts' family. The boy that she bore for Charles would have guaranteed that. Mrs. Roberts initiated a search for Sophia with our drive, Patrick, and myself. It lasted less than 2 months before she passed. What I want to confess in this letter is not about Sophia, although it was initiated by her disappearance. It's about Mrs. Roberts' untimely death. You see, Mrs. Roberts had a heart condition, and it was been affecting her for a while. However, her medication had always kept her stable. Her prescription was still the same during the visit of Painscreek, yet her condition deteriorated. The family doctor, Henry Johnson, confirmed that the search for Sophia had taken a toll on her health. All she needed was to rest as much as she could, and she would be fine. I know that despite the doctor's advice, Mrs. Roberts did not stop the search. Did it create stress on her? Yes, but it should have killed her. According to the physician attending Mrs. Roberts back home, no, definitely not within such a short time span if she had taken her medicine. Her body was never autopsied. Her son, Charles, wanted her body untouched and buried properly. As Patrick and I were packing to leave for home, I couldn't help but wonder, who could have ever wanted Mrs. Roberts dead? Is there a connection between the affairs of Charles and the housemaid, the disappearance of Sophie and her child, and the death of Mrs. Roberts? I would like to say who I might suspect, yet I am in no such position, and I am afraid that I might name the wrong person. As I write this letter, I hope you can understand what I'm trying to convey. I pray that the truth will be revealed as God permits. Sincerely, Sylvia Eden. June 18, 1975. Dear Vivian, I am not writing to you as your doctor, but as your friend. I know you had your suspicions about Charles. Now that his affair is revealed, there is no point in beating around the bush. If you want to protect yourself and Tricia, there is only one way. You have to make Sophia and the baby leave Charles. They need to be moved away from Painscreek. You will, of course, have to compensate her for leaving. As per Charles, he will need to know that having his affair publicly known will destroy his political status. People are not so forgiving when the male they trust is involved in such a scandal. I figure that Charles will try to add the child into the family. I would do the same if I were him. It's a boy after all, and the child that will be able to continue the family line. If that should happen, I cannot imagine what will happen to you. Harry Johnson. Vivian, I have given a careful thought to your request, and here's my answer. I have provided a new prescription for your mother-in-law, Magdalene. It is 3 times the strength of her usual dosage. Detailed instructions will be sent with the medicine. Should you decide to do it, you will need to administer the medicine carefully so no one will suspect anything. Call me if you have any questions. Henry Johnson. P.S. Make sure no one else in the mansion ingests any of it.